The most famous voices in the world.
All right. Call this meeting to order. Welcome, Toastmasters, and don't believe there's any fellow guests, but Toastmasters in general, to the Meridian Toastmasters Club, Thursday, 12 o'clock. I will be your Toastmaster today. My name is Sean, and we are going to start with a joke. This is one that always gets a laugh 50% of the time. Two whales walk into a bar. I sit down at their usual seats. Bartender knows their drink orders, and then he just starts going through the hours, filling their glass as time goes on. They're having fun, talking with all the other animals. It's a lively thing. And I think we have another. It's Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Just in time for the Toastmaster joke, so we'll recap. We've got two whales in the bar. About 5 hours in, so if you've been in the bar for 5 hours, you know they're having fun. And suddenly, all of a sudden, one of the whales stands up and he goes, and the other whale looks at him and says, "Bob, go home. You're drunk." Whale.
I don't know exactly what you're actually saying in Wales, so.
That's true. It could have been like very explicit too. So
Yes.
apologies to any whale talking about that in advance. We are going to start by introducing the rules today. And we're going to start with the table topics master, Brandy. So if you'd like to come up and explain your role, give Brandy a hand.
Yeah, thank you. Getting over the COVID, so I mean, I don't think I'm contagious anymore. I've felt great for 4 or 5 days now, but just in case, I'm gonna keep the mask on. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the Table Topics Master is to facilitate table topics, where guests and members have the opportunity to practice their impromptu speaking, or as I like to say, extemporaneous speaking. I will introduce a topic and call on speakers, and you will then be given 1 to 2 minutes on the subject. With that, I will hand it back to our Toastmaster of the day, Andrew.
Almost, right?
Sean.
Yes. It's okay.
Andrew's our guest. I'm gonna blame it on COVID brain.
Okay,
Andrew's the guest.
Oh.
You get one.
I get one. Okay, that was my get out of jail free. Okay, sorry, Sean.
No, Brandy, it's okay. It's hard with new people, and I'm still learning all your guys too. So we're gonna move on to the grammarian, who is going to be Will. You want to come up here and explain your role? Give Will a hand. You should just do fist bumps for the rest of the meeting, by the way. So we're just gonna do that. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. My role as grammarian is to introduce the word of the day and encourage its use by speakers, evaluators, and table topics participants. I will note who uses the word of the day or a derivative of it correctly or incorrectly. I will listen to word usage and note any awkward misuse or spectacular use of the English language. And I will also note the sounds used as crutch or pause fillers such as and, well, but, and by anyone speaking during the meeting, and I will give my report at the end. The word of the day is as follows: transcendent. Definition is surpassing others, preeminent or supreme, or lying beyond the ordinary range of perception. A sample sentence is the star player's transcendent performance helped the team to a surprise victory. And I will turn it back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Hopefully the grammarian will keep us all more transcendent than when we left. Next up is our timer. Timer is going to be kept by Buffy. Buffy, you want to come up and explain your role, please?
I will. Oh, I gotta have that one too.
Hey,
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, and greetings to all of you Toastmasters and your guests that may or are in attendance. The timer's role. Thank you. Is to time each of your talks. I will be alerting each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red cards, which denote specific times remaining. Table topics speakers should limit their remarks to no more than 2 minutes. So at 1 minute, I will raise the green card. At 1 minute 30, I will raise the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, I will raise the red card. Those giving speeches should limit their remarks to the specified times. Ooh. Icebreaker speakers we will have one of those today. 4 to 6 minutes in length. At 4 minutes, it's green. 5 minutes, it's yellow. 6 minutes, it's red. Most other speeches should be within 5 to 7 minutes in length. 5 minutes. 6 minutes, kind of get the drift. 7 minutes, red card. Don't stop suddenly, but stop quickly. Don't do like my Subaru. The individual evaluations should be between 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I will raise the green card, etc. 3 minutes. 2 minutes, 30 seconds, I will raise the yellow card, and at 3 minutes, I will raise the red card. And that is the way the timing works, and we all know this, and thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
you want this stuff?
Probably do.
Next up is, oh, it says listener on the agenda.
Don't
Not
even know
sure.
what that is.
So we'll just cancel that. I don't think we need a listener today because we're all gonna be listeners. General evaluators up, our final role for today. So if I can get Justin up here to do our general evaluation or explain it, excuse me. Give it up for.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. My role as a general evaluator is to look for anything transcendent that happens today. Keep track of that stuff, anything bad, any kind of improvement needs to happen, and also evaluate the evaluators. And do things, make sure the meeting ends on time as well, if it started on time, which we've already determined can have, so that is your one transcendent thing of the day so far.
Offer candy or something for people to get
Justin?
that word.
Awesome. Make sure we're doing the time stuff. We're getting there. We're just perfect. So we're gonna transition to these speeches for today. We have 2. Our first one is going to be. Excuse me, our speaker number 1 is gonna be Sara. This is our first of 2 prepared speeches. And this role is gonna be introduced by the speaker's evaluator, right? Okay, so we need Justin up here to explain or to introduce Sara. Thank you. Hands up, hands up.
I'm here to introduce Sara. Sara is one of our newer members. I'm really excited to hear her icebreaker speech today. And first, I don't know what it's going to be about, so I'll be just as surprised as the rest of you. And I look forward to hearing it from Sara today.
So, there's my first song. While I was writing this speech, I was coming up with a kind of in the back of my mind, coming up with title, and so the speech is called where I am at currently. My name is Sara Hoffler. I graduated from Northern Illinois University with my master's in rehabilitation counseling, and I am also certified as a certified rehabilitation counselor, or a CRC. I was born and raised in Washington State. I have joined Toastmasters uh, due to interview feedback and a combination of other factors that make things make things complex. More on this soon. And before I get too deep into this speech, and I do mean that literally, I apologize if this script speech seems all over the place. In my defense, I think it's pretty organized. If someone else were to read this or any of my writing, I guess, they might say that I jump from one subject to another. But it is my passion or hope to empower to be an advocate to assist people with disabilities in in their vocational or employment goals and to overcome barriers related to employment. Rehabilitation counseling, in short, is a branch of counseling that specializes in helping people with disabilities finding keep employment. We can work in state, federal vocational rehabilitation, workers' compensation, blind vocational rehabilitation. We can even do social security cases where we explain to the judge why this person can or can't work. I believe that falls under forensic vocational rehabilitation or a vocational evaluator. So why vocational rehabilitation? The short answer that I'm trying to prove to myself that I can do this career path. I am visually impaired and I have a couple of disabilities myself. I am visually impaired and hard of hearing. These disabilities do not affect my ability to do work too much. For example, I lost my place. Do too much, and if someone were to like give me a chance to see that, it's like my main barrier, like during the interviews. But, like my disabilities make things inconvenient, but also doable. For example, I can get from point A to point B in a city with relative ease and public transportation and Google Maps. See. And hearing it like that. Hearing aids work well for me. Just my worst enemy is bars, restaurants, and parties or loud or background noise. While not too relevant now, my undergrad degree was in communication sciences and disorders from Western Washington University. When someone mentioned studying communication disorders in my first master's, I was a bit excited and maybe a little bit biased because it's not a common major to study, and also it's a bit unusual if you only go that path, or like if you only pursue the bachelor's level of it. So if you don't go on to audiology or speech pathology, the things I tell myself was my undergrad major a waste of time. Not answering that. And I see that I am almost out of time, so I'm going to skip this conclusion. I am cautiously excited about joining Toastmasters. I am a little bit doubtful that my speech particularities will improve. I've been cautioned by professors not to rely on a script, though I do remember my internship supervisor saying generally, summarizing here, that if the script works for you, then it's fine until you find your own script. This was in the context of making phone calls to clients. So I guess that's what I'm doing here, trying to find my own script, and that's where I am currently.
Sara, thank you so much for that icebreaker. This is the first time that I've seen you in person. Usually you're on Zoom, so it's really cool to see you in person and then learn all about you, or the tip of the iceberg, I should say. I am the same way with parties and loud noises, so I totally feel you on that. I'm not your evaluator, but I need to tell you that courage was the thing that kept going in my head. You stood up here, you said what you had to say, you pushed through whatever you're going through. It was awesome to see. I just want you to know, like, we heard you, and dude, I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life, but please keep going. You're killing it already. So another round of applause there. Ooh, so everyone just take a breath. Let's get back into it. I can't wait to hear your evaluator speak as well. Moving on, we have our second speech of the day. This is excuse me, I thought we had, oh, nope, excuse me, let me take a step back myself. Speech 2 is coming up next. I want to bring up evaluator number 2, Brandy, to introduce speaker number 2. Thank you, Brandy.
Fellow Toastmasters and our guest out there in Zoom land today, Andrew. It's my pleasure to introduce Kim Chen, who's there on the screen with a beautiful background. His title today is SoMeridian Hybrid Meeting. This is how we do it. I just added that to it. This is how we do it. All right. Kim Chen.
Thank you, Brandy, for a warm welcome and a little dance for my speech here. Obviously, pretty hard to transcend over the first speech. I will try my best for mine. I'll start by saying that SoMeridian is a key word of what we do, and part of that is doing hybrid Zoom meetings like this. It is because of a couple of things, of the hard work of showing up for I like to call out, for example, Will, who comes and help early, and maybe a few others to set up the table and the surroundings and the meeting space, and also Justin for really specifically setting up the hybrid Zoom. It takes a village, as someone has said, and it takes a lot of work, and it allows myself here and also Andrew, who is a guest, to participate in the meeting that we have each and every week. It also adds a lot of other benefits. We are one of the few clubs, I think, in Thurston County that still offer hybrid. There's a lot of angst and difficulties, but that is the SoMeridian way. We make it happen and we make it work really well. Some of the other benefit I want to mention is sickness, for example. As Brandy showed up here today, she's getting over sickness. But last week, we were able to have her participate in our meeting and also not be disconnected from missing too many meetings. So I myself have experienced the same thing, where it has allowed me to connect while I'm feeling sick, when I have family things. And gosh, how many other examples can I throw out? I think Robin one time was trying to do a speech, and she was able to remotely Zoom in from her car. And I can name countless examples where folks were traveling in different areas. And I think that's what makes us SoMeridian. With that, I'd like to transition to more of a diagram to what what is Kim trying to say? What I'm trying to share here. If our Zoom master can focus on the screen for me, I am going to share my screen here. Let me know if you can see my screen.
We
Can see it.
See it.
Awesome. So what I like to show and share with everyone, and there's an outcome of this. Here's how visually how we're set up. We are looking at our hybrid setup number 1, which is what we normally have set up, which what you are currently seeing right now. And what I want to show visually is there's our table where everyone's sitting, and especially a couple of things, and then the lectern right here, especially where the technology comes into play. So right now there's a computer that Justin logs in right here, and it's somehow wire connected to a projector that everyone's looking at the screen at the moment. But there's 2 other components that's really helpful in what makes this happen. And that is a cable, a USB cable. And I think you'll be able to see that on the table right there. That is to an adapter. And from that adapter, it's connected to a Zoom camera, a webcam, which is how you're visually able to see me. And also another microphone, which is extended farther into the middle of the room on the table. And that allows me to hear everybody around the table, as well as specifically the Toastmaster who's up here at the lectern. And that's currently how it's configured right now. Technology is allowing me to do my speech and share it with you guys. A couple of key features for doing the hybrid. If you're ever doing this and setting this up, from the Zoom settings, you have to make sure that your speaker is using the webcam and your microphone is using the mono microphone. This is very important because it's the one thing that allows me to hear Sean speak properly, or else his voice will seem so distant. So this is a hybrid setup number 1. I'm going to transition to another setup here, which is a little different. So you might be wondering to yourself, what happened if Justin isn't here? I wonder about that a lot, because if he's not here, how are we going to hook stuff up? Well, believe it or not, we have a TV that's also in the closet that we utilize as setup number 2. So we bring that out. The requirement is that somebody on our membership who's going to be on site needs to bring a laptop. And that laptop will have to be connected to an HDMI cable that is connected to the TV. And again, same setup as before. The USB adapter will be connected to the microphone and the webcam. So the second setup number 2, the only difference is that we have a laptop instead of a computer. So my ask, after knowing all this, my ask is that if Justin and I are not able to make it SoMeridian, I ask that somebody within the membership who's able to be on site, bring a laptop, please, because it allows me and Andrew and any other guest who decides to join, or members remotely, to be able to be part of the conversation and part of the meeting. Hopefully this is helpful for the existing members and also guests and everyone in the meeting, so that we can continue to improve, and continue to also connect with each other, whether it's through Zoom or another method. And with that, I turn it back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Good. Thank you very much for your speech. It's a lot of stuff that I'm not familiar with, so it's good to get a good overall understanding of what you guys do before the meeting. Really, really, really cool. Awesome. So we're just pushing for time just slightly, and it stinks because the best part of the meeting, personally, we're gonna have to shorten the topics master, but for the table topics master, but we should still be able to get a couple in. So I'd like to introduce real quick, oh, where did my paper go? Randy, for our table topic master.
I'll be quick so we can fit a couple in. It's autumn. I love this time of year. I love fall in the Northwest. So I want to hear from a couple of you what you love about fall and what you're looking forward to or what you've been doing. I know after I get home today, I'm gonna go mushroom hunting with my friend down the street and we're gonna bring our dogs. It's gonna be so fun. So who would like to come up and talk about what you like to do in the fall? Buffy, come on up.
Yep. Greetings. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you all, Toastmasters and honored guests. I remember the joy of jumping out of the big old maple tree in our backyard. We had this giant maple tree. You could put 6 kids on the branches. It was a sugar maple and it turned every color in the rainbow. Well, for a fall. And it was magnificent. And we would rake all the leaves up into this huge pile and we would jump out of the, this fantasy of jumping into this pile of lovely, soft, fluffy leaves. It was full of sticks and twigs and it was wet and it was kind of sticky. But every year you'd forget. So you jump into this joyful pile of leaves. And, as an adult, I really get the part where my dad said, let's get one of those push mower thingies so that we're not push mower, but a sweeper. It was a big push sweeper and all the kids would get behind it and push around the yard because it was such a pain to rake all those leaves. It was just immense piles of leaves. I get it as an adult. Don't put a sugar maple in your backyard, especially if you don't have kids around to, jump in it. The other day I was driving to Yelm and it was a beautiful sunny day, but the wind had started as it has this week, and the leaves were falling down over the road, over the highway, and it was just so beautiful. And I was just really appreciating that colorful, not slippery beauty of fall. So with that, I am overwhelmed with wonderful memories of fall, both childhood and adult.
Buffy, I love all the visuals. I remember too, jumping into the leaves and then being covered with like nasty little worms and bugs and being like, oh. But I do love the leaves in fall. Very, very beautiful visual. Okay, who would like to do maybe our last one? Kathy, come on up. Do we have time for two more? Two more? All right. Can't wait to hear what Kathy has to say. Yeah, tell us about fall.
Ooh, thank you, Miss Table Topic Master, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. I love the colors of fall. I love the orange, the burnt orange, the reds, the maroons, the greens. Here in Washington, we have a varied source of green that transcends, I think, any community. When I first arrived here, it was in 92. After being in Germany, the first thing I saw was all the various shades of green. I did not know that green could come in so many hues. I'm originally from Wisconsin, so seeing all the shades of green, and even in the fall, the green, some of the greens stay that same color. The winter greens, the lime greens, I want to call them, from the wetland areas, which I'm not a fan of, but the colors are fun. I love all the colors of fall. That's my favorite part of autumn. Favorite part of fall is the colors. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Another nice visual. I remember hearing somewhere that the human eye can detect like over 100 variations of green. It's pretty cool. Yeah, we do have a lot of cool greens.
They just don't have the words for it.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Green, not quite as green as the other green.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would get
That'd be
interesting. All right, who wants to be our last table topics of the day to talk about one of their favorite aspects of the season that we're starting?
I'll do it.
All right, Sean, come on up.
Thank you very much, Madam Table Topics Master. The first thing that I thought was the air. It changes from summer to fall, and it seems to do it more so, at least to me, between those two transition than any of the other seasons. It's crisp. You can feel it in the morning. You wake up and you walk outside and you can just breathe in deeper. It could be psychosomatic, it could just be my mind playing tricks on me, but it does feel crisp. And I love that. I love transitioning from we were okay this summer, but if you get those hot heats that just don't stop, and then it's this energy, this feeling that when it swoops down and you start feeling the when you start breathing in that air and you can feel the chill that's coming, you know it's coming. And everything just sort of changes, like you were saying with the greens turning browns. The Starbucks throwing out the pumpkin spice. Lowe's Home Depot throwing out their ornaments and everything. There's just such a huge transition. And I think it all stems back to that air quality, that chill, crisp air that you get in them. Thank you. No, big old public sensor.
That's a very interesting thought from an air quality perspective, because like in the spring you have the pollen. And that gets really hard. In the summer, that heat is so oppressive, and on bad air quality days, it's really stifling. And in the winter, you get all the wood smoke. So maybe fall is one of the more crisp, easier to breathe times of the year. Huh, I'm gonna have to research that and look into that. Very cool. Well, with that, table topics is over. We're closed out for the season. I'm gonna give it back to you again.
Thank you, Brandy.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into it. We've got our evaluator number 1. Today is going to be Justin. Justin, you want to come up and do some evaluating? Give it up to Justin.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and honored guest. I'm here to evaluate Sara on her icebreaker, and I'm using this fancy resource we have on our website. Vice President of Education, plugging this stuff.
Good plug,
So
good plug.
you can print this off for any evaluation type you're gonna do.
I know.
So I'm gonna follow this format. Sara, great job. You came up here, your very first speech, and that's always nerve-wracking. It's really tough to do, and just making that initial step to do it. And you did it really quickly, considering when you joined. So good job. Really enjoyed hearing that, and just you taking the time to do that and making that step. And as you mentioned, lots of courage behind that. And that's what I noticed in your speech as well. Thank you for doing that. And I'm gonna follow this format a little backwards. I'm gonna give you the worst first.
Yeah,
Then
that's
I'll end
fair.
on the best, because that's what I like to do.
Oh.
The format says you excelled at, you may want to work on. To challenge yourself, I'll go backwards. To challenge yourself, just probably look up some more. I noticed you were looking down a lot.
Okay.
And then also you could move around a little bit more, use the podium. It's hard because I even get stuck. I think we all do. We want to get stuck in our box. But that would help your speeches go better. And then it's okay to go overtime. When you got the red, it seemed like you were a little worried, but
Oh.
I just roll with it
Yeah.
here, especially here. It's okay to just go overtime, I think, my opinion. You may want to work on, you mentioned at one point you lost your place.
Yeah.
I feel like you could just went with it and maybe we would have noticed that.
Okay.
So just remember this, it's okay, and maybe you take a pause. And just keep going and find your space and give us time to think about it. And I noticed at that point, you weren't doing many ums, and then after that, you started doing some more ums. So you're doing a really good job with not as many ums, you're just following along. And it seemed like at that point, we lost your spot and we got your But really good job. You came up here, you were confident. I noticed you came up here really confidently and you didn't hug this thing, you stood back. So that was a really good thing that you did. And you shared your heart. You gave a good background. You explained why you joined. You had a lot of good information. You shared your goals. You mentioned the people with disabilities and why you were doing this. So those are great motives and great reasons to do this. You listed all your good resources. You shared some really good personal things, great examples. And again, you did a really good job, not many ums until there was a certain point. So good job, very courageous to do that. You came up here confidently, and I look forward to hearing a lot more of your speeches.
Good job, Justin. Very, very cool. Second evaluator for today, we'll get her up here, Brandy, if you could do an eval for him.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, honored guest, and most of all, Kim. I'm going to give you your evaluation using the good, better, best model, which I just realized is very similar to what is on the resource for, they just call it, it's just different, it's worded differently, but it is very similar to the good, better, best. I really enjoyed your speech today, Kim. The thing that I love the most about it is how relevant it is to learn about our hybrid system. As you said, we have one of the most complex meetings because we do the hybrid, and we have two different systems that we can use to do that. And I really enjoyed the diagrams that you had. I thought was really helpful. Maybe we could even have those printed off and as a resource here. Maybe with some written instructions perhaps too. I think the thing I always forget about is when we have the TV is I have to have my audio on differently. So it gets a little bit more complicated, and I have no idea how Justin does his magic over there, but I'm glad that he does. Anyways, I'm just gonna quickly read down some good things because I'm almost out of time. I loved that you started your speech with the word of the day. You said transcend. And then your background is really great. And the way that you were balanced inside of that picture and you were on the full screen, your transition to your diagrams was clean. You were very comfortable in your speech. You had a call to action, which is to make sure we bring a laptop if Justin's not going to be here and we can't do our hybrid system number one. So a lot of really great things about your speech today. Something for you to work on. I would just say maybe some hand gestures. In the beginning, when you were talking, you were definitely hand talking. And I don't mind hand talking because I think it's great, but maybe you want to work on that a little bit. And then I'm just gonna end real quickly here with what I thought you did best. And what I thought you did best was the relevant topic of being very clear about an explanation of our complex technology. And it was great. I appreciate it. I hope we can do more speeches in the future that really kind of highlight the work behind the scenes and can kind of help us as a club. So with that, I'm now going to turn it back over to our Toastmaster. So thanks, Kim.
Thank you, Brandy. Very, very cool. Good info for everybody, I think. All right, my time is up. I enjoyed this very much. Thank you all for being my support. Along. Let's give it up for the general evaluator. Justin's gonna go over everything else we need. Justin.
Thank you, Sean. All right. Well, I'm gonna start out with my timed portion, which is 2 to 3 minutes, I believe, and then I'll call the reports after that. Well, as we acknowledged earlier, we had a really great start. Thank you, everybody that was a part of that. We got all set up. Will was here really early. I was able to come in and get the technology set up. It went really smoothly. Great day for that. We got our banner up behind me. Tape was put together. Everybody that showed up tried to help in some way, shape, or form. We did a great job of getting the roles filled last minute. A few of them, most of them were filled. So nice job with that. Great speeches. Good job with your icebreaker. And I did remember I missed something to compliment you. I noticed you were using your hand. You were trying to use your hand that was free. So that was a good job on your icebreaker. If you put your script down, you can use both, but that's a good start. Kim, great speech as well. That was great to hear. And it was very accurate. Nice job putting that all together. You gave us the circles about what you were talking about. I really like that. Nice job, Toastmaster Sean. It was your very first time. I commend that. You also came in fresh. Maybe your third time here and you took on a big role. You did a really nice job. You were friendly. You were loud, pronunciated well, so everybody could hear, not loud like that. Unlike me, who tends to be quiet.
Audible.
I like that you set the rule of the fist bump. You say, we're gonna fist bump. It was clear. Everybody knew that, set the expectation. Nobody tried to handshake and not know. So nice job with that. You encouraged the applause. I like that when you came in, you mentioned you were trying to research the formal way Toastmasters is supposed to run. So that's also very commendable. You used the word of the day. Timer, you did a great job. You gave good, clear signals. It wasn't unsure of where we were with our time. So nice job with that. Enthusiastic table topics. You used the fall theme, which was fitting. Good job with that. Also passing the timer duties. I really like that about our club. When somebody takes a role that's a timer, somebody else grabs it and does it for them. And it's really doesn't even have to be asked. People just notice that. I commend the whole club for that we all do that to one another. Nice job evaluating Kim. I agree. You shared great specifics. You do a very thorough job evaluating people. You find something, and even something with Kim, who's remote, he did a great job, but you found something for him to work on, something that we all need something to work on. So I appreciate you sharing some valuable feedback on things that we could work on. And with that, time portion over, I will now call on the rolls. Let's see, I would like to call on, first of all, the timer. Are you ready? You're the first person I see.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you. Justin. I don't need that. I don't need those. Do I need to be timed?
No, timing portion's up.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. General Evaluator, Mr. Toastmaster, and fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. I got it right. I didn't even read it. All right, so I realized I was using the wrong thing when I was timing Sarah. I will put that right out front and say you don't start at 6 minutes, you start at 0 and go up to 6 minutes. So you did great, despite the fact that I was showing you cards when they weren't right. So you did great. My apologies for that. Icebreaker was 6 minutes and 35 seconds, so it was a little bit over time. The speech by Kim was 6 minutes and 35 seconds, which was still within time. Table topics, my top will take it. My turn, I was 1 minute 42 seconds, Kathy's was 1 minute 6 seconds, and Sean's was 1 minute 28 seconds. As for the evaluations, Justin for Sarah was 2 minutes within time. Brandy for Kim was 2 minutes 44 seconds over time. And Justin's general eval was 2 minutes 45 seconds over time. All of which needed to be said to guide us. How do we stay terse? With that, my report is complete.
All right. Next, I would like to call on the Agrarian.
General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, honored guest. Well, we had a transcendent amount of good word usage today. Had to get it in there so I could put myself on the scoreboard. So I'm going to start with Sean. I'm gonna have to read my chicken scratch here. You've got one word of the day usage. You had about 4 uhs, which was really good since we're talking a lot. All right, some good word usage was stems back to air quality, throwing out, psychosomatic, crisp, everything changes, courage, just the tip of the iceberg, hands up, and I'm not going to attempt to make whale sounds, but whale sounds.
Yeah.
Buffy, you didn't get it in there, but word of the day in there. But I think I got to point out, I'm pretty sure transition was the second word of the day, because I think everybody who spoke today actually said that word.
Noticed that too.
Cause I originally I had it for, I think, Kim, and then I realized everybody else said it as one of his good words of usage. So everybody got a good word today. You had 2 uhs and 4 ahs. Some good usage was jump into a joyful pile of leaves, cheerful and slippery, don't plant a sugar maple. Moving on, Kim, you had 1 word of the day. You had 3 uhs. And now I'm saying them all. You had one repeat, or not really a repeat, but you said get and then changed it to not be. Some good word usage was my ask, right there, transition. SoMeridian way, it takes a village. Gosh, and components, key features, and bring a laptop, please.
Oh, yeah.
All right, moving on. Kathy, you got 1 word of the day in there. Some good word usage was the colors of fall, maroon, various sources of green, shades of green. Favorite part of fall is the colors. Justin, you got 2 in there, and I actually think that means you win for word of the day. You had about 3 ums. Some good word usage for you was nerve-wracking. Worst first is what I like to do. Commend, roll with it, not bad loud. All right. And then Brandy, you had 4 uhs. And some good word usage for you was Zoomland, extemporaneous, mushroom hunting, relevant, resource, and balanced.
Whoa.
And Sarah, you had quite a few uhs and ums,
Yeah.
and you had you like to repeat a little bit.
Mhm.
But I do have to push back on you saying that you're skeptical of improving, because from what I've seen, this was the least amount of all of that you've done since you started.
Only because I'm following a script.
Hey, I mean,
It's like, I
it's a
had
start.
the entire paragraph from,
well, plus a lot of like
Publish.
politicians and stuff, they just have like the screens that read everything to them. So it's not like everybody's just winging it all the time. So you did really good. And some good word usage for you was prove to myself. My worst enemy is bars and places with loud noises. Get too deep, rehabilitation. And I can't read what else. Jump from one subject to another, passion, empower, vocational, and cautiously excited. But and then find your own script. So really good job. And with that, I will turn it back over to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Will. Very thorough, detailed report. Appreciate it.
Yes, good
Nice
listening.
job. And with that, it looks like our meeting is about over. We could try and fill some roles for next week.
Evaluators. Oh, evaluate the evaluators.
Evaluate.
Oh, no.
Oh, he did do that.
Oh, I missed it. You evaluating?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't evaluate myself. I did a great job.
We have a guest still on. If you want to ask, I know Sean is still a guest.
Oh yeah, Sean is still a guest and.
Yeah, we have guests. We have Andrew. How you doing, Andrew? Can you hear us okay? I think you're muted. We can't hear you. I see your lips moving.
He's moving.
He's speechless.
Oh, we left him speechless. We can't hear you, Andrew.
Oh, I see. It looks like you're on mute. I see the microphone on mute on your screen there.
Well,
I find it really difficult to figure out where the unmute is on the phone when it's mobile. I think that's what he's on.
I've been
No, we
not
can't hear
sure.
you.
Yeah.
It's at the bottom of the phone.
Hang on the main, or
Zoom.
sometimes you gotta change screens even. You have to
Swipe left to the way.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
wipe it to the left or the right and look at the bottom.
Down and up sometimes too.
Yeah, we'll just have to come in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you next week,
Good to
Andrew.
have you Out there in cyberspace, Andrew.
Oh,
Well,
And now your face is gone, but
Well,
thank
he
you for
found
joining
the-
us.
Found the video.
oh, yeah, it did it. It went in and out for a second there, but anywho, there we go. Oh,
Almost.
this is the most exciting thing that's happened. Yeah.
I often think it would be really helpful if they
I'm
allowed
clicking
us
the
to
button
Zoom
that
in.
you to unmute and you click that. No,
there. Oh, maybe his thing is automatically muting himself. I don't know.
oh, okay.
It's all right, Andrew.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, Andrew.
It was nice to have you.
Yeah.
Hopefully
He,
we'll.
and
Yeah,
so
but
Andrew did show up on site a couple of weeks ago. This is
Oh,
his
okay.
second. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's if someone was here, if I can recall, I think he gave a table topic about long distance relationship in Europe.
oh, that's right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. People just look different on Zoom.
Yeah.
It's always so
Hey.
flattering.
Yep.
I can-
Anyway, hopefully he'll show up again on face to face.
Well, looks like we're about out of time, so. Anybody wants to take a roll, maybe just sign up online next week,
Mhm.
but thank
You
you,
can do
everyone.
that?
Yeah, you
Am I
can.
able to do that?
Oh, you're again. Do you want to take a roll this?
I'll take grammarian.
Grammarian,
We could
awesome.
write that down now.
And if anybody else wants to pick something, I can write it down too.
I'd like to continue with timer and get better at it.
Okay.
I
That's
do
my
table
profession.
topics.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I do
Great.
table topics.
Okay,
I'm up for
good.
something.
Tabletop. Great.
And I'll
And
just,
Will, you ready for a speech? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm working with Robin to get my icebreaker. And she also wants to coordinate that timing with a couple of in while she's here. So it's not right. It's not imminent,
Mhm.
but
What's if we don't have any speeches, what's the time frame for me personally?